Welcome to Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of Death Stranding 2. Sorry it's a little later than normal, but A, I felt it deserved a little extra time, and B, I got really sick this week and couldn't record and put this up when I normally would. In fact, I'm actually still sick. It's awesome. So let's get into the story. You once again play as Sam and, well, he's not a porter anymore. He has retired from the life of being a porter to raise Lou, his child. But Fragile shows up with a mission that shouldn't take him too long, and really he's kind of the man for the job. She wants him to hook up the chiral network in Mexico. Unfortunately, while he's gone, shit goes sideways in a colossal manner, and we're not going to say why, how, or what. But this leads him into an even greater and longer mission. And the first thing I'm going to say is this game is so goddamn Kojima. It really is. If you ever want to play a Hideo Kojima game, this is very Hideo Kojima, from the weird characters, weird powers, weird story, all the wild stuff going on, the depth of the messages in the story. Some of them are blunt, some of them are not. There are a few where I was like, oh, okay, you could tone that back a bit. I don't need to be smacked in the face with a baseball bat with that message. But then there are other better ones, and overall, I gotta say, I do enjoy the story, all the weird, wacky Kojima-ness of it. Kojima is very much an acquired taste. I actually saw some interviews with Norman Reedus where he's like, Kojima tries to explain it and you just can't really wrap your mind around it, but you've gotta still try and bring it to life. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. But I really do enjoy the story, the different characters, the different missions you get and why you're doing them, and all the different outposts and the people there and why they're having you do certain missions, their motivations, all of that I thought was cool, and I thought the fact that they put that effort in is really awesome. I mean, not entirely surprising because it's Kojima, but nonetheless. Now let's get into the audio, and the first thing I'm going to say is voiceover work is top notch. Not really surprising anyone. Everybody's a little weird and quirky, and they should be, and it does work. But then you move on to all the other sound effects, whether it's just the sound effects of the world, and the ambient sound effects for me are probably the best sound effects. When you're walking through an area and you can see a creature, or just you hear the creature before you ever even see the creature. And by creature, I mean like actual wild animal, not like evil enemy creature. But then you've got those too, and the sound effects for all of those are incredibly well done. The weapons, the vehicles, just every little detail I think is incredibly well done in this game. Then you've got the music, which I love the music. There were a couple of the songs that I wasn't necessarily as into as others, but overall I really enjoyed the soundtrack, and there wasn't a single song that I heard where I was like, well, that's shit, I hope I never have to hear that again. So that's always appreciated, and I just do enjoy, being able to actually enjoy an entire soundtrack. Now we'll move back to the gameplay mechanics and whatnot, and this is a third-person action game, but you don't necessarily always have to play it that way. It actually feels very Metal Gear in a lot of ways, because you can go into situations guns blazing, or you can sneak about when there is like action and enemies around that you need to deal with. The rest of the time is you just really kind of trekking across the landscape, and I love it. Like, I've never been the cozy game type of guy, but this is like the equivalent of a cozy game to me, where I'm just like trying to build roads. Legitimately, that was my thing, was like, the only reason I was increasing my reputation with outposts was so that they would have more materials that I could take to build more roads. Which, that's the other element of this game. While you are by yourself in this world, essentially, other players' actions still impact your world, such as if they build bridges, if they complete roads, when they put up signs. There are some signs that are great because they'll give you speed boosts. I love those signs. But they really increased the level of traversal, I felt like. Although it did feel like it escalated much more quickly in Death Stranding 2 than in Death Stranding 1. I felt like I went from using ladders as bridges to being on roads in a matter of a few hours, rather than it taking me hours upon hours upon hours. I felt like I was on a vehicle much more quickly this time around. But they still have the traversal mechanics, the weight balancing mechanics, all the different items you can acquire. Some will help you transport items more quickly, some will help you in combat. Increasing your level with the other outposts doesn't just give you more resources, it can give you better weapons. Some are great for stealth, some are great for just going guns blazing. I worked very hard to get the shock bolo because that thing is sick. It knocks out enemies in one go, and like some of the other enemies that are a little harder to take out, it may take 2 shots, but like your human ones, boom, done, easy. What I did appreciate as well were the different types of cargo, as dumb as that sounds, that will provide you with different challenges and make it so you really do have to think about your route at times. You can't just go crazy because some of your cargo will be fully breakable. Some of it will be noxious. So if you damage it, it'll start leaking poison gas. I just think they gave you a very good variety, which mixes up the gameplay and how you get about. Although I will say, once I got the truck, I was just kind of living in that truck because I could carry so many materials to build roads. I'm sure there's stuff that I am missing when it comes to the gameplay mechanics and whatnot, but it's a great game. There's a lot of depth to it, and I really enjoyed the experience of this gameplay. It really did become one of those games where once I started playing, it was kind of hard to pull myself away, and not even because of the story, just because of all the side stuff that I fell in love with. Now you've got the controls, which I don't have any complaints with the controls. I think the controls worked very well, whether you're on foot or driving or shooting. Then last but not least, the graphics and visuals, and this is one of the most beautiful games I have ever seen. And I'm gonna start with something that anybody who's been watching these videos knows I love, and that's little details. Like, this game goes hard into some of those little details. There was a point in time where I was walking through a sandstorm, so I was coated in sand. I then waded through a river up to about my waist, and that got cleared of sand, and by the time I got to my location, my boots were coated in sand again. So I was sandy up top, clean on the midsection and down, and then my boots were dirty. It was wild. The amount of effort put into something like that just kind of blows my mind. But it's not just there, it's your vehicle as well. It's your clothes in other situations too. When your vehicle gets covered in dust and you drive through a river, your tires get cleaned, or you'll get frost on your vehicle when you're in a cold area, stuff like that. And I thought that was just incredibly well done. I love those little details. Just going beyond that, it really is everything looks amazing in this game. There's a weird little character who's a doll who has different frame rates than everyone else. Everybody is running at a smooth frame rate, and he's at 20 frames a second, so he's just a bit off and twitchy. Little details like that are cool, but then it's just the detail in the characters. The facial capture was obviously very well done. The physical performances are fantastic. But going beyond that, it's the world around you and how it all just fits into this weird, crazy Kojima vision. Whether it's the tar, the creatures, the humans and their outfits, it's just all of those little details come together so well to bring this game to life. And it's not just the graphics, it is the design. Both of them, the artistic style, it all comes together so well. So to wrap this up, I really think everything I've said speaks for itself. I really loved this game. If you've ever been on the fence about Kojima's weird storytelling, then this game probably is not for you, but for anybody else, I think it's a fantastic game. I really loved it. I don't have a problem recommending it. Okay, so in the comments down below, why don't you tell me what's your favorite Norman Reedus movie? And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share and subscribe. Have a good one. Really? Fucking car alarm right now? Fuck off.